politics in the United States of America. The left has gotten really left, and the right has gotten really right. Everyone's towing the line, and we're getting nowhere. Fast. This is the Rational American. The Rational American. Common sense has gone out the window, and our passion is to open eyes in hopes that people will take a rational look at what America is actually becoming. Put your feelings aside and let's get real. This is the Rational American, and this is your host, Steve Oatley.
What's up, everybody? Good to be back. How the fuck are you doing tonight, huh? Anyway, my name is Steve. I haven't done an episode of The Rational American in a while. I was under the weather for a couple of days. My kid was under the weather for a couple of days. We have all rebounded. I do have a pesky cough. That's kind of annoying, but I can't tell if it has to do... Oh, look, I got some. I shaved my head. Yeah, I'm ready to go to a wedding in New York City this weekend. I'm not really. Not at all. I did get the tux. I think it's still in my car, although I left my car unlocked for a long time and I didn't check to see if it's actually still there. Who knows whether it is? But frankly, I don't even care. I don't even care. But yeah, I got a suit, a tux, ready to go. This is a high-class wedding we're going to. My wife's best friend is getting married to a hedge fund dude. So obviously, lots of moolah at this wedding. It's going to be the most grand wedding we've ever been to, with chariots of fire. Not really. I made that up. It's going to be interesting. But so that was the reason why I decided that I'd go live right now. And I planned on it anyway. We do have a big announcement. A lot of people have been waiting, and I'm going to butcher this guy's last name. But we do have a winner for the Florida trip. Paul I want to say it's Delego, but I don't. There's an I in there, so it's DELIGIO. So, and you know what sucks is he bought one bag of French roast coffee, but whatever. So he won. I've already emailed him. He's already confirmed, and all that good stuff. So he's thrilled. I'm not really, because I was hoping it would go to someone that bought a box or something like that. Especially one of the people that have been waiting, because he was someone that placed an order and I shipped his coffee order right away because I was packing when that order came in. But so happy for him. And yeah, I don't know how to say his last name. It's Deliglio? I don't know. A New Yorker. But you know what? Hey, if I can help one New Yorker get down to Long Island, or not Long Island, to Key West, hey, I win, right? Right? I'm doing my part. So whatever. Couldn't go to a better person. I've never talked to him. I talked to him via email. So I can only assume he talks like this because he's got a Long Island address. But whatever. I'm just like giving away who he is. But whatever. Doesn't matter. He won. So that's good. Anyway, whatever. Someone else said. But yeah, it's been a couple of interesting days. We've been covering the Daryl Brooks trial during the day. For anyone that doesn't know who Daryl Brooks is, he is the person that ran a vehicle through, and he drove a vehicle through a bunch of people, including children, killing 6 people, injuring dozens more. I think the injured number was in the 40s, if I do recall. And that's only the actual physical injuries. We're not talking about all the emotional and PTSD and all that stuff. So but this trial has been something to see. I mean, it's definitely been different than any trial I've ever witnessed, because Daryl Brooks, who's now shaved, he doesn't believe that the mugshots of him with dreadlocks or the videos of him running through the crowd of people killing them, that those he's making the argument that it's not him, which doesn't make any sense. But I gotta say, he's representing himself. And a lot of people are like, why the hell, if you're charged with 6 vehicular homicides and a dozen more, or whatever it is, 60, I think he's got 74 charges, you would be like, why you would defend yourself? And I bet I know what that is. Does an attorney, actually I have no idea, but I'm going to surmise what I think it is. Does an attorney have an obligation to represent a defendant in the way they want? Or does the attorney have an obligation to represent their client to the best of their ability and the best of what is legally permitted? I can only assume, and maybe I'm, going to make an ass out of me and you, you and me. But I can only assume that his attorney backed out and was willing. And the reason why Daryl Brooks is defending himself is because he probably said, hey, so one of the cellies over there in cell block PCville said that I should say I'm a sovereign citizen. And his attorney's like, it's not going to work. And he's like, well, I want to do the sovereign citizen route. And he's like, it's not going to work. I want to do it anyway. No, you should take a plea deal for 100 to life. Well, whatever. You should not do this. It's a bad idea. And he's like, I want to be a sovereign citizen. They're like, but you're not a sovereign citizen. He's like, well, whatever. I can make it work that I'm a sovereign citizen. And then I bet his attorney was like, yo, fuck this dude. And the attorney was probably like, nah, I'm not doing that. And then he was like, I am doing it. And the attorney's like, no. And so he wanted to fire the attorney and represent himself. And there was a lot of motions and things about that because the judge, I mean, this is a big case. Like if I was the judge, and I don't know anything about law, so I shouldn't really speak on it, but I'm going to anyway. You would think that the judge would have given like second chair to an actual attorney. Do you know what I mean? So instead of the judge having to answer some of the legal questions, Brooks could have been like to an attorney that could have given answers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, yo, but I don't know why they didn't do second chair. I don't know if you could do that if you're trying to represent yourself or something. I have no idea. But he is certainly very competent. Maybe he was trying to make the argument that he was not competent to stand trial. His mother gave us a statement or something to Newsweek where she was saying the same thing, that he's not competent and this trial shouldn't be going on. He's clearly competent based on his conversations in the room. Do I think he's delusional? No, because I think it's an act. So I think his delusional activities there, the exaggerated rolling over the eyes, the fate dabbing his tears away and all that shit, it's all a gimmick. And I really believe that the only thing I can think is that he is literally benefiting somehow from terrorizing these victims on the witness stand. That's the only thing I could surmise. That's the only thing that would make any sense, is that he is somehow like boosted. His psychotic ego is boosted by having these people literally criticizing dads for, seeing someone dead and going to tend for their kids instead. Like we heard that today. The one dad that was, he walked over to the woman that was on the ground, Jane, I believe her name was. He walked over to her. He made the summarization that she's probably dead or dying from her injuries. And he went back to find his kids, right? Because he originally thought that the woman that was hit by Daryl Brooks, that he saw, and everyone saw the testimony of this. The guy was driving the black SUV. He thought the woman that he saw go by him on the hood of the car, he thought that was his wife. He didn't know because they were wearing the same red poncho. And then she fell off of the hood when he brake checked a little bit, and then he ran her over and did it right in front of this guy. So of course the guy gets out. First thing he does is he runs up to her. He realizes it's not her, and he's like, "Oh fuck, where's my wife? Where are my kids? Where are the neighbors' kids that we're watching?" Like, and so he does what anyone else was do. And then Daryl Brooks wants to challenge him on why didn't he stop. Here's something for you, fuckface. Why didn't you stop? Like he's trying to say, like, oh, did you hear the horn honking? The horns were being honked. The horn was honking. It doesn't give you the right to plow into people. If he's using that for his defense, he is so flawed, so far from reality. It's insane because it's not. If you were actually trying to stop and if it was an accident, the first person you hit, or say you're freaking out, right? And you see a cop and he's trying to get you to stop before you even hit anybody, and you're freaking out and you're like, no, I'm not going to stop, and you're speeding up, and then you hit someone. That's when you say, nah, enough. You know what you don't do at that point is drive the entire parade route, swerving in and out of groups of elderly people and children, and swerving towards kids that are playing right on. I can't imagine. I'll be honest. I got to give it to every single one of those parents there. There is not a chance in hell that he would be I would do everything in my power to make sure he wasn't breathing by the time I left that courtroom if I was called to testify. And no joke, that's absolutely 100% honest. Especially if I lost my child or I lost a family member or anybody. They said there's room in the courtroom. The general public can go. I was like, hell no. Hell no. You're trying to set up another murder? Like, there's no way in hell. It shouldn't even be called murder. You know what it should be called? You should get a tax write-off for taking out scumbags like that. I'll be honest with you. You should. You know why? Because you're saving taxpayers a shit ton of money. What is it? $300 and something a day to keep someone locked up? $300 and something a day is what taxpayers pay to keep people in jail. When you got someone that's inherently evil like that, what is the benefit of keeping them in jail? You know, and he's already going to go through the appellate process. That's why he's doing all the grounds, because that's prompting, or what it's supposed to prompt the judge to state her grounds for the objection, so they have a clear record of it for the appellate courts. Because he's already said he already put her on notice. Remember, that was yesterday, that he was going to appeal. It's absolutely insane. This case is by far one of the craziest cases I think I've ever watched out of every court case that I've watched. And it's only fixing to get even more insane because he's going to call witnesses. What the fuck are his witnesses going to say? I mean, there's not a chance in hell that the jury doesn't believe that he was in the vehicle. And I think he is doing a better job than the state at proving that there is very little, if no remorse. I believe those tears that we saw the other day, I believe those were real. The shit today where he's like, sorry, Judge, I just need a moment. That's all fake. That was all for the jury. He was fine until the jury walked in there. Once the jury walked in, he started doing it. No. Maybe reality set in at that point that this scumbag is going to go to jail for the rest of his life because there is no death penalty in Wisconsin. The only thing that I think could be beneficial, because here's my belief. I think he'll be guilty. He'll be moved from the protective custody, which I'm sure he's in, because he had a very public case, that he's going to be moved from protective custody into general population, where two things are going to happen. One, he's going to be killed pretty quickly. Or secondly, he's going to be a bitch. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't have the vehicle. You're not going to find women in a man's jail, okay? You will find men in a woman's jail, but you won't find women in a man's jail. Has that ever happened, do you think? Because you know how some states are allowing male prisoners that identify as being a woman to go and impregnate women prisoners, because they identify as a woman. Has there ever been a woman that identified as a man that goes to a male prison? That's something I don't really actually give a fuck about, but it probably doesn't exist. I would think it doesn't exist. Someone said he's in a mental isolation ward. But my guess is that he's gonna do a lot of on accident dropping the soap. That's what before he dies in prison, and I sincerely hope it doesn't take a long time, Is it hard? Is it wrong of me to wish for the death of somebody? No, I don't think so. Is that too controversial? I don't think so either. The man literally drove through, and we've watched his trial every single day, and he shows not an ounce of remorse. We saw that today. Not an ounce of remorse as he's talking to the mother who watched her son, and he's chastising her for dropping off the other kids before she took her son to the hospital because he had a cut on his head. She's literally saying, oh, it wasn't important enough, or whatever the fuck he said. Or did you have intent to bring him to the hospital? The dude doesn't even know. And see, this could be the argument that some are making, saying, well, he's clearly batshit crazy. He hasn't had 3. I saw someone write in the chat that he had 3 psych evals. That's false. He's had 4. 4 full psych evals. 4 psych evals. And each one of those 4 psych evals have said that he's perfectly competent to stand trial. You know what I mean? So, and he tries to make that argument, and I don't know if he directly made it ever, because I didn't watch a lot of the preliminary shit. So I don't know if he actually was like, hey, Judge, I'm fucking Looney Tunes. I shouldn't be, able to represent myself, let alone stand trial or face these charges. I really don't know. But it's crazy. Some Jennifer just said he should admit his guilt and save the state money. Absolutely. But at this point, he should just admit his guilt for the families and everybody that's sitting there watching, everybody that's watching it on TV every day. Do you know how healing it is to hear someone that wronged you say, I'm sorry? Like, he's never done that. He's always pled that what's he trying to literally argue, that he wasn't the one driving, or that there were other people in the vehicle, or that the person that they saw with long dreadlocks wasn't him? Like, even the officer, her response was beautiful, because she's like, yes, I saw someone with long hair. He's like, but you identified me and I have no hair. And she's like, because you shaved your head. Like, it was, and I was hoping that person today was going to do it. The last dad that said he was looking at him and he couldn't tell what his hair was, but he was wide-eyed. I was hoping that dad would be like, just straight up be like, yo, Brooks, why are you doing this shit, bro? Like, I saw you. I know it was you that ran over my kids. Like, why are you doing, own up to your shit. Like, that's, and I don't know why I was talking like that with that funny accent, but whatever. Like, that's how I'd get up on court. They'd be like, Mr. Oatley, what do you do? I'm a social media commentator. Oh, yeah? Yeah. So were you at the parade? Yeah, I was. Has he apologized yet? That's what I would literally lose my shit on the stand within a minute. I thought the big dude was going to do that too. The guy with the ponytail that was driving the Suburban. Woo, I thought he was going to, because there was a couple, but you could tell he was holding it back. He was chugging water too. I think he had a lot of creatine in him, right? Because he was drinking a lot of water. Maybe that's why he was so bulked up, because of all the creatine. But he was a big dude, and I really thought he was going to lose his composure, but he didn't. He was actually one of the better witnesses, I think, that we've heard so far for the state, because he gave a very clear, very concise, and when he was questioned by Brooks, he didn't stray from that. Some of the other people kind of strayed, or there was nothing that any of the witnesses said under questioning from Daryl Brooks that would cause you to be like, oh shit, is the guy innocent? No, but it was just weird. And race hasn't really come into this trial thus far, which is interesting, because I thought it would, because all of the victims were of light complexion, and he is not a white dude. And let alone his social media post where he said he was going to target, elderly white people and, sucker punch them and all this anti-white stuff that he had on his social media, which has since been nuked. And I doubt they will even introduce that in the courtroom, because that only muddles it even more. Right now, you have an open and shut case of this guy was behind the vehicle. He's not showing any remorse whatsoever now. And he did this. Like, there's no denying that he did this. You know what I mean? Like, based on the evidence, based on the video of him committing the crimes. And that's the other thing that pissed me off. There was a couple of times today that they said the vehicle hit people. The vehicle, like, if I was on the stand, I would have been like, nah, the vehicle didn't do it. It's just like a gun can't kill someone. It's the person behind the gun. It was the driver of that vehicle that killed everybody. Because that would be like saying every red, Ford Escape has to be locked down for the rest of their life, regardless of who's driving it, because the vehicle is deadly. No, Daryl Brooks is deadly behind the wheel and potentially, not. And we're not even hearing the fact. Remember, he was released on no bail, and he had warrants at the time of his release, and all this weird shit, and his history of insane amounts of violence to get a no bail. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But we're not going to hear about that in this trial, because they don't even need it. That's the thing. Like, for the attorneys, like, this is probably one of the easiest wins they've had. The only thing they need to do is just make sure they keep presenting evidence like they are. The truth, it's novel, right? When the truth is there, it's there. But his use of the coffee, or saying grounds over, and I throw up the coffee grounds thing. I do that because it's funny. What is it? This one? No. This one? No. Well, it's not going to work on this overlay anyway. But yeah, I understand the reason. The reason is because he's trying to essentially document every objection and the reason why the judge ruled against his objection. So when the state is objecting and he says grounds right away, it's because it's to market essentially for an appeal. And he's obviously going to appeal this regardless of what the thing is. We should do an over under for how many years he faces versus how many years are sentenced. Like that would be cool. Like we do an over under, right? Or like a big lottery pool or something like that where everyone like places their bet for $5, like a 50-50, right? And the other 50 we just donate. You know what I mean? And then the 50 someone could win it. We can't actually do it. It's illegal to do that, but I'm just saying it would be cool. Like if we were in person, I think you could do it. But I was joking. We're not actually doing that, IRS. But it's very crazy. The whole thing is absolutely crazy. And we're going to have to wait and see what's going to transpire because I think the case is only going to get crazier. When he is calling up his witnesses, he has 13 witnesses. Well, 12, because he tried to call the state of Wisconsin as a witness, as a physical person. Again, it goes with his sovereign, saying he's a sovereign person and doesn't recognize the state of Wisconsin, saying that the state of Wisconsin has no jurisdiction over him because he's a sovereign citizen. That doesn't go by the name Daryl Brooks, but I don't know what he's going by the name of. Shithead, Sir Shithead. Maybe that's his name, Grounds. Maybe his name is, he doesn't go by Daryl Brooks anymore. He goes by Daryl Grounds. I have no idea, but he's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. So we're just going to have to wait and see how much time he's actually going to get. And I firmly believe that they're just waiting. People in Wisconsin, they're just waiting. I would hope. I'll be honest. I don't know that. I would hope that all the like hardened criminals, like the people that are like super evil, or the innocent people that were served sentence to life, because we know that happens too. I hope they're all just sitting there like sharpening their shivs. You know what I mean? Just being like, come on, Daryl, come on down. Just like the Price is Right music. Come on down, Daryl. We're sharpening our shivs for you. And I hope that's the best scenario, because there is no death penalty in Wisconsin, and I don't think it's fair to have taxpayers have to pay that burden. But you could also make the argument, because there have been murderers that have been locked up for 20, 30 years, and then they are found innocent because new DNA or DNA testing or something like that. And while it wouldn't work now, in previous cases, we don't need to make it retroactive. But I think people that are convicted for life without the chance of parole, they should be killed. Does anyone actually disagree with that? Like, especially now with all the technology, it's not like people are getting railroaded now and framed for murders and all that stuff. And there's always going to be like, yeah, there are people still getting framed for murders. Okay, I'm talking about the open and shut cases like this, or where like a guy has a gun and then he gets caught by the cops right after with the same murder weapon, and he's on video shooting the person, and he has text messages saying, "I'm going to kill you," so you know that that's the person, and there's no disputing it. Why sentence someone to life in prison? Why not just end them? You would think that would be a lot easier, but I don't know. They don't, nobody wants to do that. He can't take the stand either, because when he represents him, from what I understand, and I could be wrong about this, I am not a lawyer. From what I understand, there was some conversation about him representing himself and how doing so, he would forego himself taking the stand, I believe. Someone said his name is pronounced Darrell. No, it's not. And I know you're trying to be funny, but no, realtors have no humor. No, but no, his name, he probably has some fucking stupid ass name. He's pretending to be a sovereign citizen. These sovereign citizens, weren't they the ones that got in a big shootout? Or it's not Moors. There was a big shootout in Pennsylvania where and it happens in Florida too, where they walk into a house and they say it's theirs and their ancestral lands and they own it and blah, blah, blah. I think it has like it's a spinoff or maybe something to do with the Nation of Islam. Don't quote me on that, but I think it has something to do with the same thing, but it's a crazy trial. And I encourage all of you guys, if you're around during the day, just listen to it. Just turn it on and go amongst your work, do whatever. We're starting our coverage at 9:30 every day. And for the next 2 days, all the people that hate my commentary over shit, don't worry. I won't have any commentary. This is a part of the show where I'm like, hey guys, if you like this show and you want to support me, please consider doing PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. We had some today, didn't meet our daily goal yet. So if you like the show and you want me to do it more, we need your support every day. Otherwise we just can't do it. And I got to do other shit to try to pay the bills. So, that's just that. What else? You guys want to see a pit bull? A vicious pit bull playing with a bunny? I bet you do. I bet you do. You want to see that pit bull, don't you? I got to get it all set up. I'm a little goofy. You know why? All right. You want to know why? It's why I'm a little goofy. So yesterday, my son's football team had a football game, right? And they won. It was not a shutout, but it was like 32-8 or something like that. So today, and my son didn't play again. So it was the fifth game that he didn't have any play time. But they played today. And today was for the game for the seventh graders and the kids that were afraid. So you had eighth graders, kids that just weren't ready to play, in the big games with the good kids, right? So my son was in this group because he's a seventh grader and he's afraid of getting hit. Yo, my son... So he was on special teams for kickoffs and all that. Oh, they got walloped. They got shut out 28-0. My son's team lost horribly because they had no offensive line whatsoever. Like literally, they would hike the ball and the quarterback would either drop the ball or he would get tackled with a loss of like 10 yards. Literally every fucking, play because the offensive line had no ability to stop any of the opposing team's player. My son, however, was on the special teams for the first three periods or first three quarters. First three quarters. He's on the special teams doing the kickoffs and all that stuff. And I was watching him, but I was like, you could tell he was clearly avoiding any contact with anybody. So he'd run down the field and he's a heavyset kid. But I tell you, he was fucking moving. I was like, that's my boy. And then he would get up to someone and then just be like, as they walk by. And I'm like, I don't know that kid. You know what I mean? Because I'm someone that would have like chopped him at the knees and cowabungaed him, whatever. And so but he was going out there showing effort. So I was really happy about it. Then they moved him to defensive line. So he was like I don't know what it is on a defensive line because I didn't play football. But you know how on offense you have the center who hikes the ball. What is the person that's center on defensive line? Is that still the center? I don't know what that position is. But they put my son in that position, right? And so, of course, he's going against their center, some big fucking, big kid. And first time, he gets pushed back. The kid was stronger. Second time, he got, pushed back and pushed over. And you could see him. He's like doing this with his shoulder. I had a feeling he was crying, whatever. But I was like, I'm clapping. I'm like, yeah, it's my boy. Like clapping, trying to get him all amped up so he knows that I see him, right? And then he I don't know what happened. I saw him doing this to his legs when he got up to the line. Oh, and it was a whole new boy because he's pushing back this big kid. And on the very last play of the game, he came within an outstretched hand from sacking the quarterback, but he's just not fast. But he pushed right through their offensive line. He was right down the middle. He came so close. I was like, that's my boy. We got him Taco Bell. Because he's got that fat kid, he likes Taco Bell. You know what I mean? So he's celebrating with Taco. Like right now, he's probably in heaven. He's like, dude, dad's happy. Mom's super happy. Liam's a butthole. The dogs are crazy, but he's probably sitting at the kitchen table right now eating Taco Bell, happy as shit. And he should be because, I was very proud of him for doing that. Middle guard is what people are saying. Or nose tackle, nose guard. It's everything. But yeah, he is definitely not ready to play with the bigger kids because he's very strong. He doesn't know he's strong. He doesn't know how to use his strength. You know what I mean? It's like me. I'm a strong guy, but I know how to use my strength. He doesn't know it yet. So for him, when he gets pushed over, he's like, and he cries. He can't help it. It's the nerves, whatever. But even today, I was like, did you cry? And he's like, yeah, a little bit, but I stopped. And I'm like, dude, I saw you hitting yourself. Like getting yourself all worked up. And he's like, yeah, the other players do it too. And I'm like, yeah, remember what I said, powerlifting. That's what we do to each other to get ourselves to not focus on the actual weight, just to focus on the movement. And, and he's like, yeah. And he raged. So I was very happy. I was very happy that he busted his ass out there because that's all we asked. We just asked him to just give his all. You know what I mean? And if he doesn't want to play next year, he doesn't need to. But I think he will because he likes the camaraderie. You could tell he likes being a football player. He just doesn't really like football. He loves football, actually. He watches it every Sunday and all that, even though I don't anymore. But you could tell he's just not big on the physical contact. So I'm going to work on that. Next year, he's going to be going right through people. You watch. I'm going to start. He could start lifting weights with me this summer. And I haven't told him that yet. He was asking me that the other day. He's like, Dad, you said I could start competing when I'm 13. So can I start training now? And I'm like, nope. But I'm going to let him this summer. He can come in and train and clean the gym. Because I've decided that I'm just going to get used free junk equipment and for the gym over here. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll just use it for my own damn gym. You know what I mean? Until it gets enough equipment so it could make it worth it. Megan sent a PayPal. Thank you so much for that, Megan. You were the only one during this show. You sent a $10 PayPal. I thank you. I haven't seen it. Maybe other people did. I shouldn't say it. Nope, you're the only one. Thank you, Megan. So Megan just paid for all of you to watch. You're welcome. You should all thank Megan in the chat right now. Unbelievable. All right, so let me try to play this bunny video because it's pretty funny. It is pretty funny. Which one should I play? I have two, but I only see one of them here. Is this just not? Yeah. I guess I'll just have to play this one. I don't know if this is the really funny one. Whatever. Hold on, let me get this camera. Let me switch this over to this. All right. Right. So that dog that's there, that's going to be annoying. That dog that's in the lower right-hand corner is Haley. And the bunny is Shithead. I don't know what the bunny's name is. That's the older boy's bunny. But watch. This was yesterday. Is that funny? I don't care who you are right there. That's some funny shit. It's funny stuff. Bunnies are funnies. Mary with a PayPal. Thank you so much, Mary. But yeah, the bunny, they're good. They're funny. What else is new? So there's, because I'm not really talking about any news anymore. I just don't want to. And I'll tell you what, I'm so much happier. I was thinking about that when I was driving today. I'm like, man, it's so I just feel so much better just driving around. James with that Cash App. Thank you, dude. But I like not thinking about the news. I'll be honest. I haven't read a fucking news article in 3 or 4 days. I just haven't. I've read the headlines. I see the headlines. I still get all the same push notifications. I was driving today all the way back from my son's football game, and I realized I didn't even have the news on the radio. There was nothing on the radio, and I couldn't tell you when the last time I turned it on was. And it's just nice to kind of unplug from it all. I don't know if you guys can tell a difference in me, but I feel better. Like, you know what I mean? From not just focusing on the negative. And I still know a lot of the same shit. I know that there was a young girl that was kidnapped in broad daylight, held at knife point, and then sexually assaulted in a bathroom in California, broad daylight, and the person got away. I know that 3 Philadelphia SWAT agents were shot and killed, or shot and injured. Sorry, they were not killed, but shot and injured. The suspect was shot in the head at 7:30 this morning. He's dead. I know those things, but I don't pay attention to the news like I was before. One of my mods, get rid of the Trevin Martin. Get rid of him now, please, on YouTube. Whichever YouTube he's on. Ban him now. Michelle with a $20 Venmo. Thank you. The difference is you're not dwelling on it with us. Yeah, isn't the show better? You know? Isn't the show better? I think the show is better. Maybe you don't. Cash App. Larry with the Cash App. Thank you, dude. Thank you. And thank you everyone for doing it. And to be honest, that's because I was thinking about it today. Like, so I talked very briefly about this job opportunity I have. And I was trying to, and I still haven't made up my mind. David with a Venmo. Thank you, dude. I was trying to decide. Like, so I have essentially an opportunity. This is a very generic opportunity that I have, or descriptor for an opportunity. Essentially, I would be able to be, and again, generic, this is not really but you can't figure it out unless you actually know, and nobody that knows it's going to say shit in this chat, because then I'll disown them. But I have an opportunity. I was offered a job to be a producer on a television show. You know what I mean? That's like the best way to break what I do. But decent money, great money actually. But it's different. A lot of away time. You know, they provide the housing for the first 90 days and stuff like that. Really good stuff, but it's something I've never done. It's completely out of my wheelhouse, and it has nothing to do with politics or my personality. Well, that's why they want me to work there, is because of my personality and all that. But it really has to do, it's just an opportunity. And I'm not, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, listen, the goal for me to be able to be successful in what I do is that here's the truth of it. I have to not do 5 million things. You know what I mean? Like, not be spending 5 days packing coffee, then spending 5 days shipping orders, and spending 5 days printing shirts, and then spending 5 days trying to, do content and write and do all that. What I think and I don't have it all concretely down, and I don't even know if I'm going to take the producing job, but what I want to do, and I found a way, because here's the thing. I have this daily budget, this daily goal that I need to make, right? And so amongst everything that I do, all the different businesses and everything that I do, I have this daily goal, which allows me to make a living and allows me to keep doing it. The problem is trying to balance happiness in that as well. You know what I mean? And a lot of people may be like, what the fuck, Steve? You sound stupid as shit. You sound liberal as fuck. You sound like a hippie. I don't know what the best way to describe it, but for me, it's trying to find a balance of happiness and obligation. Even when I say it doesn't make it. So I'm like, that's what I was struggling with for so long, because I was with the news and doing all that stuff. I had the vision, I had the goal, I knew what I wanted to do, except I didn't have the drive to do it because I learned to hate it and loathe the news. I mean, look at how they just cover shit. Look at the Kanye West shit, or what's his name now? Yeast West. No, Yeast West. Ooh, that's funny. That would be like East West, but Yeast West. See, I don't know. But like, everyone's covering that. Maybe we'll hear tomorrow that Chase Bank is ordering that he empty out all his bank accounts by November. That's what, just happened. Everyone's like up in arms. They're like, oh my God, Chase, they're infringing on free speech. But we all said that fucking months ago with Mike Lindell. We all said that months ago when Chase was closing businesses of conservative commentators, closing business accounts. We all said, and I know that because I closed my Chase accounts when all that shit happened, because I didn't want it to happen to me, and maybe now mainstream media is going to talk about it, but I hated being that guy that reported something and then 2 months later, everyone else reports it as if it's real news, and just reporting on all the negative stuff. So I was trying to find that balance, and I couldn't find that balance. And so what I decided to do is just stop focusing on the news. Like, literally, I'll read the news and I'll consume it just like a normal person. And then I'll dismiss it. You know what I mean? And that's I'm literally going to give that a valiant effort and try to not, I can't tell you when the last time I read even an article on Citizen Stringer. I haven't read a news article in days, and it's a very like weight off my shoulders thing. It's nice. It's nice. So, it's nice. Someone said, Yee has a point though. Yeah. And I understand what Kanye West, yeast infection, whatever his name is. I understand the point he was making, because he was talking about Hollywood, but he made a statement towards Jewish people, and which you can't make statements like that because you are public. You know what I mean? So it's like every time Donald Trump tweeted, No matter what his message actually was, people would manipulate that message and spin it off to something different. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. And so it's the same thing being a conservative. Sorry, I just started getting hot. It's the same thing being a conservative because they take the message that you may have, they put their own message in it and they manipulate what you've said in order to fit that narrative that they want to set. And that's exactly what's happening to Kanye West, is because he's calling out the hypocrisy in Hollywood and, you know, about being a conservative, Trump supporter, MAGA, whatever you want to say. But then he just takes it to a whole nother level. You know, that saying, ow, fuck, what was that? He just took it to a whole nother level. Oh, it's funny. That's from an old show. And I always say it and I always chuckle when I say it. And my wife is like, what the fuck? What are you chuckling about? But, you know, I'm not surprised by the Robert, man, thank you, with the Venmo or something. Thank you. But, yeah, it's I don't remember it. He said something about Jewish people like oh, God. I don't remember what he said. In Living Color is what the show was. Christopher also with the PayPal. Thank you, dude. But he's canceled again. Yeah. And he's going to be. He took it to a level that isn't on par. We respect Jewish people. We respect all people. I think he was namely talking about the people in Hollywood, the people that are running Hollywood. And I mean, if you really want to like look into it on a micro level or macro level, whichever way you want, kind of fits too, because Chase Bank canceling him kind of reaffirms that. You know what I mean? Where you either conform to a certain set of standards or what people, you know, a certain set of standards that even if you disagree with them, you still must conform, because if you do not, we will cancel you. Everybody, like Kanye West being canceled by Chase Bank and being canceled by everybody else, it's going to continue happening. There's this YouTube or Facebook, Twitter page that literally their whole purpose is to go after advertisers for like Real America's Voice and Steve Bannon and shit like that. They're just commenting on it, and then they post and gloat about when they have these advertisers are canceled. And to me, I'm like, do you understand that you are literally, they call people fascists, right? So like this one, and I forgot who it was, it's on Twitter. This one lady that runs this group, she literally was saying, "Oh, are you Procter & Gamble had an ad on Weather Nation, which is I guess Steve Bannon's parent company owns Weather Nation or something, which I didn't know. That's pretty cool. They're divested. That's one of the things that we're going to do. There may be a holding company that'll own a bunch of different shit, right? Because I've always wanted, whatever. But yeah, there's, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, so they posted on. So what this lady does all day, every day is she's got, this Steve Bannon, Real America's Voice, whatever the fuck channel it is, on Roku. She's got it on all day, and she's writing down every single advertiser that advertises on these networks. She then tweets at them and saying, your ads are on this page. Are you supporting right-wing fascists? Blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But she's a verified checkmark, and she gets enough people to tweet at them, and so they're canceling their ads. Procter & Gamble did that. They canceled their ad that was airing on Weather Nation, blah, blah, blah. The thing is that's really funny is because they call Bannon a fascist while they literally practice and exhibit fascist characteristics for all to see. Canceling someone's advertising, urging people not to use it, trying to shut down opposing views is fascism. That's literally what it is. Do you know what I mean? And we're not talking about some like crazy ass CRT shit or some like sex shit in schools. No, because that's just morally wrong. But you'll notice not a lot of people on the right. Yeah, sure, there's some ridicule, but people on the right don't call for cancellations of people on the left or boycotts. Like that's a new thing. And I take that back. People on the right have been recently calling for boycotts against people on the left. And I'm like, it's the same fucking thing as canceling. And they're like, no, it's not. Canceling is when you go to them to have them cancel you. Boycotting is when we all go to us and have us cancel them. And I'm like, you're still canceling someone. It's fucking stupid. It's stupid. Allow a business to make their own choice. Sure, if you want to educate a business and say, hey, this is that, but you also got to understand that when you are presenting a one-sided argument to a business, you're only going to get that one side. And unfortunately, a lot of big businesses, I had the same thing with the coffee side. That's why we've launched a whole new coffee brand, because so many businesses are not willing to advertise with us because we're associated with one political ideology. And because of the business model, we can't be, just catering to the right or businesses that agree with our way of thinking. We can't do that. The business would fail. Literally, based on the actual business model, we need a shit ton of advertisers in order for it to pay for itself and to give away free coffee. So that's why we launched Gratis Cafe, because we had no choice. It was the only option, or just not give away the free coffee. And I'm not giving away free coffee. You know what I mean? And there's so much of this going on in America right now where it's just the right versus the left and the left versus the right. And that's why, like in this intro, everybody's lost their fucking minds. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Everybody's lost their minds, including the people that hug the middle, including the people like me, the rational Americans. They're just the Americans. Everybody has lost their mind because we're so either one, self-absorbed that we don't care what's going on with everybody else, or we're so concerned with what the other party's doing that it's literally affecting our daily lives. And that alone will be the decay of America as we know it. That's what I believe. And I don't think that anybody else gives a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? I've come to that realization, and you guys may have seen the switch for me, right? I've always been a conservative. I still am. But I've always been, I'll go as far as say a right-wing conservative, right? A constitutional conservative, someone that, believes in law and order, follows the Constitution. That is where I've always aligned politically. It never stopped shifting for me. Like I never started shifting towards just, identifying as an American or whatever I say now, not as a Republican. People shifted it for me. You know what I mean? Because as people on the right that were far righter than I was started coming out and saying more and being more boisterous and more loud and became a representation of what the right is, it made me be like, well, fuck this. I don't want to, if I'm going to criticize the left for doing shit, there's no way in hell I'm going to apologize when the right does the very same thing I criticize the left for. And it's like, I always hear, well, they didn't get in trouble. BLM didn't get in trouble for blocking highways. Why does it matter when we do it? Why are we getting citations if BLM didn't get it? If BLM can storm this, that doesn't mean, like, it's a little principle you teach kindergartners. Two wrongs don't make a right. Just because someone else gets away with doing something criminal doesn't mean you go out and do it with the expectation that you're going to be allowed to break the law. And a lot of people don't agree with me on that. They think, no. If one person can break the law, then everybody has to be able to break the law. You can't be held accountable for your actions anymore, which is literally the decay of America. I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird when you think about it. Like it truly is. When you actually sit back and you just stew over it, it's weird. And people, I'm sure there's already someone in the chat that's like, well, what do? Do you just join them or you could just join the Democrats? No, you don't. But you're allowed to think freely. This is America. It's supposed to be the land of the free. And so you're supposed to be able to think freely here and have your own values and your own morals and your own idea of what's right and wrong. You know what I mean? But a lot of times people are like, no, my morals, my ideas, my version of what's right and wrong is what you must ascribe to or subscribe to, whatever the saying is. Do you know what I mean? And that's flawed. That's what the left is trying to do by canceling, books, taking books out of the library, by fucking taking down statues and all that stuff. They're saying it doesn't matter what the history is. We don't agree with it. So we're going to nix it. It's the same shit. It's like some books that the right has targeted at libraries. I am married to a teacher, albeit she's a little liberal, but I'm married to a teacher. She's telling me books that have come up in controversy with schools, books that I read as a student. I don't know what Mice and Men is fucking banned. but that's not from the right wing. But you know what I mean? There's these. But it's fucking insane. And the right is doing the same thing, like a little bit of fucking pornography in there. And you know, your 12th grader's not allowed to read because someone's like, their voluptuous breasts. Yeah, you can't read, it's pornographic. Oh my God. We're not talking about the actual pornographic shit that's found in school libraries across America. That should all be eradicated. But now you have so many people, guys, my YouTube mods, make it supporter only. We got people, this Adolf guy that are trying to get me banned. Make both of those channels supporter only. Both YouTube channels, please. Or to shut off the fucking chat. No joke. Because I'm not going to get banned because of some dumbass on YouTube. You know? But, I don't know. Someone said, what about the Muslim community in Dearborn shutting down BOE meeting over books? Yeah, those were pornographic books. You can't do it. April needs to do it. Here, I'll just do it. I shouldn't even have to do it. We shouldn't have fucking scumbag racists in my chat. You know, and just trolling over and over. We shouldn't have that. Bear with me one second. I mean, my videos are already not monetized. They don't let me monetize it. You know, and it's just like people are, I don't know why you try to do it. That I'm making them members. I'm not gonna have my channels fucking nuked because someone wants to be a racist scumbag. I'm not doing it. And you may disagree, but whatever. This is my channel and I have to protect it at all costs. I don't even know if this one is, if I can do member only on the Citizen Stringer one. I don't think we have memberships. Only approved users can send message during your stream repair. Anyone watching can read them. Interesting. That's new. I've never seen that before. Yeah, I did the subscriber thing. Let me go back and fix the other page because I guess they were on this account, not the other one. So the other YouTube. Guys, they're writing racist shit in the chat in an effort to get me banned. So I can't have that. I don't want that in my chat. This isn't a place for that kind of stuff. So someone said, what's an email for CT membership questions? You can email social@citizenstringer.com. But nothing's going to happen until Monday. Nothing will happen until Monday with that at all because we're having an issue with the website. It's just not accepting our feeds. So, Vicky with the Cash App, thank you. AKA Dimples. Shout out to you, Dimples. That sounded weird to say, but whatever. There, so I made it for both YouTube channels. You just got to be a subscriber for 5 minutes, and then that should be fine. What the hell was I talking? Oh, Citizen Stringer. So what I'm going to end up doing, it's probably not going to be done this weekend because we're traveling for the wedding. But what I'm going to end up doing is just rebuilding Citizen Stringer. Again, I know it sucks. And we're getting rid of the hosting. We're getting rid of everything. We'll have the live stream there. It's going to be there. It's going to have a free chat where you can go in. I'm going to make a special free chat just for the founding members. All of your subscriptions are going to end. You'll all be founding members. I'm going to find a way that I can make a special like emoji thing next to the founding members, which there's like 3,000. Even people that canceled your memberships, you'll still have it. So that way, if we're ever nuked off social media, you can go on to Citizen Stringer and watch it. But I'm going to have to rebuild everything, the Roku, everything, because they can't fix my live stream. They keep telling me that it's the other people, and it's not the other people because the stream's working and I've tested it. Matter of fact, well, actually not right now because I didn't do it, but we tested all day stream today. We tested it running to a dummy page, and I was like, look, it's working here. And they're like, well, it's not us. And I'm like, well, so fuck off. You guys don't want this business anymore. You don't want this business. And to be honest, it saves me $2,500 a month anyway, so it's even better. And you could do what Larry Elliott just did on YouTube and became a member. Shout out to you, homie. What else? There was something else that, we were talking about the banned books. So I don't know too much of what books are being banned outside of the fact that I know the leftists were pushing for books that racism were exhibited in, and like Of Mice and Men, shit like that. Those were bad. Of Mice and Men was a bad book, right? It was a bad story. Happy Story. Was it a happy story? I don't remember. It was a bad book. It had a lot of negative shit in it. I think I read it in like 7th grade. I think that was a required reading back then. It's not anymore because it's banned in school. You can't even read it. They're not in libraries. There's other books that are coming out now where their goal is to influence children, okay? Those books have no business. Whether it's a right-leaning subject or a left-leaning subject, those books have no business being in schools. So it doesn't matter. Like, for example, if there was a book like, This Is Why Joe Biden is Bad, and it was in a kindergarten, I wouldn't want it there. Do you know what I mean? Even though I am someone that believes Joe Biden is fucking Satan. I don't believe he's Satan. I think he's an awful, awful human being. Deliberate. You know, even today, he makes a statement. He's like, my son Bo died in Iraq. No, he didn't. But he said that today. And the White House will put out some fact check. Mainstream media won't even cover it. You know, the same old fucking story, but it is what it is. The best example I can give is sex ed, right? Because sex ed, let's face it, sex or whatever is defined as sex in the past 10 years has morphed into some fucking weird shit. There's no other descriptor that I can give other than a big steamy pile of poop, right? The sex ed shit that is being taught now is not the sex ed that we remember as kids. Okay, it's not. And many people didn't have sex ed, I guess, as kids. My wife had it. I had it when we were in like middle school is when we had it, and that's where they're doing everything, like with the fucking banana and everything. Teaching you about protection. They went out, they go hard at describing it. Now it's different because now it's like, you could choose your own gender. You can do this. You want to identify as a furry? Oh, it's perfectly acceptable. None of that shit's acceptable. And it shouldn't ever be. And it shouldn't be taught. Like the basic reproductive sex ed shit should be taught. Like, yeah, a woman could get pregnant. A man can't. Can a man that identifies as a woman get pregnant? No, because they're still a male. Can a woman who wants to be a man and dresses like a man get pregnant? Sure, because biologically, it's a woman. Who gives a fuck about the pronouns? Who cares what they want to go by? Because frankly, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? I don't care. Like if my son's teacher was a lesbian and had a rainbow flag in her classroom, it wouldn't fucking bother me as long as she taught the kids the right shit. He's got a teacher right now that is an incredibly good teacher. Does her job. She doesn't have any rainbow flags or nothing. She came from like a inner city school, so she's hard on him, but she's doing a great job. But I wouldn't give a fuck if a teacher had a rainbow flag in their class, as long as they have the American flag next to it. Let's preface that. If the only thing in there is a rainbow flag, then I'd have questions about it. Because you know why? Because it's my job to teach my children. It's my job. So I teach them also. If people want to say, oh, the rainbow flag is, a big deal, then so what? We'll teach them about it. Because who gives a fuck? It doesn't affect us. However, I would draw the line. If it was a Black Lives Matter flag, my kid wouldn't be going to that school. Why? Because Black Lives Matter is an organization that caused terror in the United States. And that's what I believe. And that's it. But I don't give a fuck if someone has a rainbow flag in school. And you guys do? Like, I'll be honest. Say you walked into your kid's classroom right now. And I wish we could do it so it was like anonymous. But say you walked into your kid's classroom right now and they had a rainbow flag up on one wall, which is the LGBTQ plus A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, that one. And then an American flag. Would you, just based on those two things, would you question the sincerity of that teacher and how much they care about their job and whether or not they're going to do a good job in school? Press 1 if yes, 2 if no. Because I'm really curious how many people, just based on the fact that they have a rainbow flag in their classroom, would say that would cause them to not be just a good teacher. Let's see. There's so many people that are saying 1. What? You'd be pissed if they have a rainbow flag? So would you also be pissed that they have the American flag? Because if you wouldn't be pissed they have the American flag, why the fuck do you care if they have a rainbow flag up? Because how do you know what the rainbow flag means to them? Unless you're going to be willing to have a conversation. This should be a sea of twos right now. Nobody should care if there's a rainbow flag in the class. Nobody should, unless you've talked to the teacher and found out they have some radical ideology. Do you understand? Because the whole purpose. So that means, see, I don't want to go here because I don't want to piss everybody off. But I can only assume that means you have a problem with gay people. And you have a problem with LGBTQ plus people. I don't. I give two fucks. Do I want to see two dudes make out? Absolutely not. But you know what? It doesn't fucking bother me. Everybody wants to be like, oh, LGBT, they're just trying to influence the child. No, they're not. They're not. Some do. Some are perverts. You also got fucking teachers that go out and molest kids. You got fucking, right-wing conservative people that are also convicted of molesting children. It happens. People are awful human beings. But to label one whole group of rainbow, followers, it's not the right. Do you know what I mean? Someone said it doesn't need to be in the classroom. But who are you? Unless you're teaching in said classroom, it's not up to you what's in the classroom. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what that rainbow flag, you could literally not have any understanding what that even means. That could just be for colors. It could be for anything. They may say they fucking like it. You don't even know. And that's the thing is so many people, someone said, why did they need a rainbow flag at all? Have you ever driven around like during a Super Bowl and they got their sports team flags all over the place? Have you ever, like today, I saw two different cars, one with a thin blue line flag, one with a red flag. The other day I was driving down the road, I saw a tow truck that had the yellow line flags for tow operators. Flags mean something to people. We have an American flag outside of our house that flies every day. And the reason we have that is because I love this country. And I'm proud of this country. Even with all its faults, I'm proud of the country. And part of my freedom of being able to fly that flag is the freedom of expression. It is the First Amendment, the freedom of speech. You know what I mean? And so to say that a teacher can't have a rainbow flag up because they're impassioned, that would be like saying a teacher can't have a fucking Washington Commanders or whatever the fuck they name their football team now. Is it still the football team or Commanders? I think it is. They can't have that up in DC or a Baltimore Ravens. You can't have a teacher. When I was doing the parent teacher nights, there were teachers that had, Philadelphia shit up and, Philadelphia Flyers hockey memorabilia in their class. Do I have the right then to challenge that teacher to take it down because the Flyers fucking suck and the Bruins are beast? Like, is that what, do I have that right? And if you say no, I don't have that right to demand the teacher do it. What gives you the right to demand that a teacher remove a rainbow flag? You could say, well, they're two different things. Rainbow flag, there's people that indoctrinate. Yeah, Phillies fans beat people to death outside of their stadiums in the past couple of years. Beat people to death. Multiple people were beaten to death outside Philadelphia Flyers Stadium, whatever it is. Trying to see what people say. Someone said, you're actually making a case for the flag not being in the classroom because, again, it's their passion at teachers to influence over teachers. Their passion as a teacher, which is an influence over the teachers. No, it's not. No, it's not. Someone could be, I'm passionate about life, right? Is that my influence? I'm passionate about, what am I passionate about anymore? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm passionate about my wife and kids. That's why you hear about them so much. Someone said the football flag isn't sexual. LGBTQ flag isn't sexual. I don't get turned on by looking at the flag, nor do I get turned on by looking at. See, the problem is that people will always make an excuse for something. I don't have a problem with the rainbow flag as long as they're not trying to pressure our kids to explore some weird fucking lifestyle. You know what I mean? And not to say that is it is a weird lifestyle to me, but I have no problem because I'm not going to try to inhibit someone else in what they view. My kids are raised in such a way that they're not going to be influenced by somebody else. They're not. because we teach him, we talk to him every single day. Do you know what I mean? Renee said, dude, you know what I meant. I don't know what you meant because you have a New York Giants logo. New York Giants? You want me to take you seriously when you have a New York fucking Giants logo? No, I'm just kidding. Wait, hold on. I can't take you seriously. Someone said Steve is a liberal. No, see, and that's the funny thing is because people, just like I said earlier today, people obviously jump to a conclusion because I don't align with your value and what you think. I'm a liberal. That's not how it works. That's not what America's founded on. That belief right there, that singular belief is why our country is where it is right now. Because you know what you now have in common with the people that you loathe? That single thing. Where if you don't conform to my way of thinking, you are the enemy. That's not how it is in real life. And when everybody can break from that mold and realize that people are allowed to be individuals, again, I'm not advocating for sex ed or people even having conversations about gay people or gay relationships or anything in school. But a rainbow flag, if it means something to the teacher, it's like a wedding ring, right? Are wedding rings offensive to the unmarried? What about children? People having children. Are you going to say that people aren't allowed to walk around in public anymore because there's children there? Because people can't have children or people don't want children? Do you understand? Or shirts. What if someone prefers not to wear shirts? Are they going to ban all shirts because they want? Do you understand? It's like someone telling me I have to conform to a certain thing. You don't want to do that yourself, so why the fuck would you try to influence other people in that regard? I think, and I think I'm making sense here. Someone said you're talking about a school classroom. Again, so what the fuck is the difference between a rainbow flag and a thin blue line flag? Okay, here. I got a better one for you. Teachers flying. Would you be okay with a teacher flying a thin blue line flag in a school? Yes, one if yes, two if no. And by God, any of you guys who said one or no, let's do it the same as before. Well, we can't now. I can't change it. But one before was you would be offended, and two would be no. So would you be offended if someone was flying a thin blue line flag in a school? One would be yes, two would be no. If you said you'd be offended if someone flies an LGBTQ plus flag in a school, but you wouldn't be offended if someone flies a thin blue line or a thin red line or thin yellow line or purple line or whatever the fuck other colors are. So I don't even remember what the numbers were. So maybe we should have said yes or no instead of one and twos. Just say yes or no, because I don't remember. Would you be offended if someone had a thin blue line flag in the schools? One, or just say yes or no. One was yes. But look at how many people are saying no. It wouldn't bother you. Like, do you understand? That's part of the issue too. And if you want to say that all gay people are trying to influence the sexual choices of your sexual preference of your kids, you're a moron, because that's not what's going on. And I'll say that with 100% confidence. That is not true. If you're saying everyone that proudly has an LGBTQ plus rainbow flag, on a vehicle is trying to groom children, then I will say you're a moron, and because you have a disconnect with reality. And I'll go, I'm not going to call you a moron, but I'm going to say you have to have a hard look at yourself in the mirror if you think that it would be okay or it would be wrong of someone to fly an LGBTQ flag school or in a school, but okay for that same person to fly a thin blue line, a thin red line, thin yellow line, whatever flag in school. Because both of them, they talk about what they are or what they stand for or what they're, you know what I mean? Someone said you're confused too. So the way this conversation started is because I said an LGBTQ, the rainbow flag being in a classroom wouldn't cause me to judge that teacher. So we did a poll in this chat and we said, would that cause you to judge that teacher? And to my surprise, the majority of the viewers said yes, which doesn't make any sense. And then a lot of comments were like, it has no business being in a classroom. And I'm like, what's the difference between that and sports memorabilia, or that be a thin line flag, or that between anything else? You know what I mean? If you want to make the argument, the easiest solution would be to just have the American flag in a classroom. You know what I mean? But then other people could make the argument, which holds no ground with me, that the American flag shouldn't be flown in a classroom either, which, and that has no, it's, someone said, can I put up a straight flag? See, I don't even know what that is. You know what I mean? Nor do I care. I just see, and maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my level of confidence in my parenting style that I firmly believe that my children are not going to be able to be influenced by someone else. And I know that, and here's the thing. I have 2 kids. They both go to school. I'm married to a teacher. All of these things I have talked about with my family. If any of these instances that are prevalent all over the country, according to Twitter, if they were prevalent in any of the schools, my kids have gone to several schools, 4 different elementary schools in the past 3 years. 3 different elementary schools. Actually, we could do that. 4 different elementary schools in the past 4 or 5 years. Not once has there ever been an example of what everyone says is happening all over the place. Do you know what I mean? Sure, yeah, BLM stuff in classrooms early on, and all that. And then it was taken down. School districts actually, made them take it down. I don't believe BLM flags should be in schools, but to me, a LGBTQ gay flag, whatever the hell it is, it doesn't bother me. I won't even say it doesn't bother me. I will say that it wouldn't cause me to draw any conclusion about that teacher, which is what everyone that answered one before, you said you would pass judgment on the teacher based on that. Just based on that flag being prevalent in the class, which is insane. If you ask me, it's insane. And I know people don't agree, and that's cool. That's a beauty of this show. And that's the beauty of what I want to do is I want you to not agree with me all the time. I want you to think about it. And I hope that maybe I've made someone talk about it with somebody else. You know what I mean? I'm certainly not trying to get you to agree with me at all. Sure, I say the words morons and things like that when I speak. And I generally do mean them, but I'm just going to preface, I'm going to stop, or what's a preface would say before. What is a word that you'd say after? Because that's what I'm doing now. So after the show, I'm just going to give a little bit of guidance and say, listen, this style of show where I'm asking questions, wait till I start involving other guests, because that's what I want to do is start involving other guests and have these conversations where they're a little bit harder, but where we cause you to kind of think about it a little bit. There's someone that I don't know if my wife works with a teacher, right? She works with a teacher who's a conservative, and he's been teaching a long time. And she's like, "Oh, he's going to be a fan of yours now because he's a conservative and all that stuff, same way of thinking." And I'm like, "That would be cool." And I was like, it'd be better interviewing him. So because we don't hear conservative teachers unless they're following the line of what everybody else is saying. We're not because think about it, if. Maybe your argument would be there are no conservative teachers, because if there are conservative teachers, then surely all this behavior that we're hearing about on social media all the time, that's prevalent in all schools that they say, and that's causing all this uproar, they would be standing out and talking about it and shit. And we're not hearing it as much. I don't know. It's interesting. Someone said to allow is to accept it. It's wrong. Patricia, so you're saying to allow what? So are you, hold on. So let's try to break down this comment. And I'm going to wait for your comment. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I am putting you on the spot. You're saying to allow is to accept it. It's wrong. Are you saying to allow an LGBTQ flag in a classroom or on a business or whatever, it is to accept it? Is to accept that lifestyle? Is that what you're saying? Because that is a fucking stupid thing to say. And I said it's stupid because that's just patently false. And here's the thing, because many of you guys may remember there was in my town where my store is located, there's a business that has an LGBTQ rainbow flag. You remember what I said about that business? It caused a big argument with my wife. Do you remember what I said about that business? Because my position has not changed. I wouldn't go out of my way to go to that restaurant, nor would I go out of my way to avoid that restaurant. It would just not be a restaurant that I want to go to because I personally don't see the same value. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like a store that has an anti-Joe Biden joke right on the front of the store. Liberals aren't going to walk in it. They may be pissed off at the whatever. You know what I mean? It's just weird. It's really weird. It's really weird. A business is apples and oranges to a classroom. Someone said, I agree with what she said. Are you talking about the lifestyle or the classroom? See, and I think a lot of you guys are just, to allow it is to accept it. It's wrong. So are you saying the lifestyle, just being gay, is just wrong? Like, how many of you agree that just being gay is just wrong and you're going to hell? It's wrong and you are evil, evil human beings for being that way. How many of you have that way of thinking? Because I'm not going to be able to change your mind. You know what I mean? I personally don't have anything against gay people. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. Never did. You know what I mean? I didn't ask you whether you agree with it. What I asked you is, do you believe that it's wrong? Like they're all destined for hell and all that shit. Whatever, whatever the saying is. Okay. So Patricia said, so you are one of the people that believe it's just like, there's no such thing as a good gay person, is what you're saying, Patricia, because you're like, God made one man and one woman. And I to be honest, I understand that. I agree with it. But I don't understand why there's this like fucking hatred for what happened to just being happy for people. Like, I don't fucking care if a dude loves a dude or a woman loves a woman. I'm still allowed to be like, yo, it's fucking weird when a dude wants to dress up as a woman and live his life as a woman. I think that's weird. You can't expect me to use a correct pronoun when you look like a fucking dude. You know what I mean? But I'm not even going to pass judgment on it. I don't fucking care. And maybe that's the disconnect here, is because I just think there's such a disconnect between people like me that are just like, fuck it. Like, whatever makes you happy. You know what I mean? Versus, and mind you, it's still uncomfortable. Okay. I'm an old man now, 38 years old. I'm not old, but you know what I mean? It's still weird. When I go out to dinner with my family and stuff, and there's like two dudes sitting there holding hands, being all loving, I don't want to see that shit when I'm eating food. But it would be the same as seeing, an unattractive couple doing that, or an attractive couple, seeing PDA in public. Be the same thing. It's just not, it's not my thing. I don't know. I see a difference in the flag. I am not going to pass judgment on someone. So maybe that's my statement about flags in classrooms. Because that was my question. It's not whether or not you believed it should be there. It's whether you would pass judgment on the teacher for it being there. And the majority of you guys said, yes, you would pass judgment on the teacher for having it there, which to me is it's really crazy. It's really crazy. Someone said, unfortunately, these sick groomers have set the gay movement backwards again. I hate it when they say, again, I have lots of gay friends, but these transgender in schools is going after the children. You don't know shit. You're spending too much time on social media. Get off social media. Plus, you're a Giants fan. It's hard to take what you say seriously. Patricia said, fine, Steve, keep it out of our schools. Kids don't have a choice when a gay flag is in the classroom. So do you believe that parents have no obligation to teach their kids right and wrong and influence their kids' behavior and show tolerance? Man, I don't know. It's weird. Someone said then you wouldn't care for a BLM flag. No, there's a difference. The BLM group, that flag, that is a logo for a terror group, a group that terrorized the public for years, killed people on the streets. BLM is completely different than the LGBTQ flag. Well, like, and when I'm talking about like gay people, I'm like a dude that likes dudes or a girl that likes girls. That's it. I'm not talking about all the weird unicorn fairy wearing, like, have wings and dress up as furries and dress up as opposite sex or intra-sex or no sex. I don't even know. I'm not talking about all that because I don't understand any of that shit. But do I want to influence that? Do I think that my view on it should be heard around the world? Fuck no, I don't care. But anyone that wants to say, oh, they're the only threat to children, you're fucking nuts. If you think that the biggest threat to our children is grooming, fuck no, that's not our biggest threat. Our biggest threat is some of the rhetoric and some of the policies and the shit they watch on television and social media. Like, that's the biggest threat. The ideology that they're getting from all those programs that they're doing. The teachers are doing their job, most of them. You do have other teachers that are just bad and evil. Let me see with this. Someone that said, how about bisexual? I don't give a fuck. To each their own, dude. Celeste said, I'd never judge a teacher on a gay flag hanging in the classroom. I judge that teacher on their teaching ability, which is exactly what I said. That was the original question, is if someone had a gay flag in their classroom, would you pass judgment on that teacher? Would you prejudge that teacher in their teaching ability? That was the question. That was the question. Someone said, what's the difference between the hockey team you're teaching about and the BLM flag? If you don't know the difference between BLM and a hockey team where violence erupts, the difference between BLM is they stole millions and millions of dollars and not a penny of it went to actually help what they said. They bought mansions. They orchestrated some of the most violent riots we've seen in my lifetime. They've killed dozens and dozens and dozens of people. Lives, hundreds of lives ruined. There's a huge difference between a college sports riot and what happened with the BLM riots. And there's a huge difference for all the crazy leftists out there between what happened with the BLM riots of 2020 and let's say, because there were true BLM riots where people were chanting Black Lives Matter. And then you have the shit that happened in Portland. Those weren't BLM riots. They hated BLM. They fought with them in the streets. We watched it live. Those Antifa terrorists, they all were, sure, they'd be like, Black Lives Matter, fuck the police, and all the shit that they'd say while attacking Black Lives Matter organizers. We watched it live. They didn't give a shit about Black Lives. And then you have the other, January 6th, the riot at the Capitol. You can't even compare those three. You know, just based on just violence alone, you can't even compare those three. Where has BLM been classified as a terrorist? I classified him as a terrorist. The government's not going to do it because they're all woke. Someone else had a universal thing. You said, I'm against gay flag, blue line flag, any political flag in classroom. So what about, but here's an argument too. Like if you want to take that stance, which I'm inclined to agree with to a certain extent. A lot of people, not this guy, it's tattooed on me, so certainly not. But a lot of people believe that the American flag is political and has no business being in the classroom. I'm assuming that you would disagree that flag does have a purpose being in the classroom. That's not for everyone. That's just for this fella. Because, I mean, wouldn't you want to be inclusive to everybody's feelings? Like, where do you draw the line? Like, where do you draw the line? Seriously. Where's the line? Where's the line in the sand for you? What time is it? I've been talking longer than I wanted to tonight. Fuck, it's already 9 o'clock. Holy shit. Someone said American and state flag always flew outside our schools when we were in school. We put the flag up every morning and took it down. Yeah, they still do it at all my kids' schools too. Virginia Realtor said whether they learn it from a school or an LGBTQ neighbor flying a flag, parents need to be ready for that conversation and have it with all parental units present. I don't know. I can't believe it's that big of a deal. Still, even now, I really can't. I really can't. You know? And hey, to each their own. Everybody has different views. And I hope, and I'll say it again, because now I am going to end the show. I didn't realize it was 9 o'clock already. What my views, and I hope people aren't unsubscribing. Listen, if you're going to make an argument, say that I'm sounding like a liberal, that's fine. What I'm doing is I'm challenging the narrative. I'm challenging your idea and your way of thinking. And I'm challenging my own, in fact, because many of these shows, you'll hear me say something, and then 20 minutes later, I'm saying the exact opposite of that. Because it just like everything else, it evolves. Your opinions evolve. Your view on things evolve. And that's the whole purpose of my show. That's what I wanted to do. So I sincerely hope that people don't do what like Sonny just did. Be like, you're lost, Steve. You're lost, Steve. Because that is the closed-mindedness that's not going to get us anywhere in this country. You know? And that's my belief. You know, I hope that people are willing to listen and just be honest and be open to certain things and hearing new perspectives. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with them or that you have to undertake them. It's that you listen. Isn't that what you've been screaming about the left not doing? Is hearing you? They take what you say and manipulate it, say it into something else, and they miss the point. Isn't that what everybody's been so up in arms about forever? What do I feel about pride parades? I think they're fucking wrong because it's not people walking up and down about being proud to be gay, which doesn't affect me. No, it's fucking people dirty dancing in front of children wearing nothing. I saw that pride parade and wherever the fuck it was, where those politicians were in Atlanta or wherever the fuck it was, where dudes are wearing G-strings dancing for money in front of kids. No, that is fundamentally 100% wrong. And those people are, in my eyes, sex criminals. They are pedophiles. If you, in good conscience, can do that in front of knowing that there could even be a child present at any point, you are a pedophile. And that's so hopefully people understand that. You know, I'm not coming to the defense of gay people. I'm speaking with a rational fucking thought, you know? Someone said, just like you've got frustrated and said you were going to quit. I've said I'm leaving before. I'm still here. Yeah, but see, I did. I quit the news business. I'm not doing the news. This is going to be more of what my show is. And eventually I'll bring other people on. And then we'll have these debates live because that's what I want to do and do different interviews with a bunch of different people. Bruce Brown said, and that's what the rainbow flag stands for. That's not what that means. And maybe it does now. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have to look up what the October 2022 meaning of the LGBTQ plus flag is. Maybe I have to look that up because it used to be a gay flag. Now it's the LGBTQ plus ABCD 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you know me flag. Maybe it does have a different meaning now. And so maybe Bruce is correct. And so maybe I do need to reevaluate based on what it means now, but not what it means to you, what it means to the actual people that are flying it, right? Isn't that what I should do? Because yes, it could have a meaning to you. Just think about it. The American flag, people view that as a racist flag. It's not, clearly. It's tattooed on me, so it's not a racist flag, but people do view it as a racist flag. Now, are you going to say it's a racist flag because other people view it that way? And if not, then make sure you don't do that about the LGBTQ plus flag. You know what I'm saying? That was pretty good. I think I got many of you there. But it's okay for a trans to book reads to kid in school. No, I never said that's okay, Patricia. Nobody's ever said that's okay. We're talking about a gay flag in a school versus you're talking about drag queens reading books to children. And they're not doing it in schools. They're doing it in libraries. Or maybe they're doing it in schools, but whatever. But no, that's not wrong. That's not right at all. I think it's not right to have men dressed up and I'll go out on a limb. I don't think it's right to have men dressed up as women by children. I don't. I think it's weird. It confuses the child. That's my belief, you know. But would I publicly shame a person for doing so? No. But my personal belief is what it is. And there was a guy in New Hampshire, Keene, New Hampshire, all the time. He walked around. He wore a dress and he pushed a fucking stroller around. No baby in it. He did it. We had to have the conversation with the kids because the dude was clearly a man. And we had to have the conversations with their kids and be like, hey, yeah, it's some dude that wants to dress like a woman. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Whatever. Who cares? It doesn't affect us. Why do you care? Don't stare. Like, you know what I mean? But to read books to kids and do all that while you're dressed up. And let's be honest, they're not dressed up as a woman. They're dressed up as this weird fucking Barbie doll, too much makeup, still very much a man. That there's difference. And I think a lot of people are confusing gay people or men or whatever the word is that where a man wants to be a woman with drag queens. They're two different things. Drag queens usually are heterosexual, from what I understand. From the little bit of research that has been on social media. I could be wrong about that. I have no fucking care in the world to actually know. But I don't think they're gay people. Or maybe I'm wrong about that. I have no idea. Celeste said, drag queens freak me out. I can't imagine how it makes little kids feel not cool around kids. And didn't you say you're a lesbian anyway? And if that's the truth, you're saying that drag queens freak you out. I think they freak a lot of people out. Someone said, I was born female and I'm going to be called she or her. Yeah, I don't agree with the pronoun shit either. I've said that for a long time. I don't agree with the pronouns because I don't believe that you can force someone else to misgender you. And you're not misgendering someone because they identify as something. That's not my feeling. But do I believe that I should make it so a dude can't identify as a woman? No. But I just because I don't believe they should tell me I need to call them a woman. Does that make sense? Like, it seems so easy when I say it and so easily understood. Christine said, I think you may need to get amongst more people face to face. Nah, I'm not going to go hang out with a bunch of trans people. I don't know what you're saying there, but that's not what I want to do. And again, guys, like, everyone is entitled to opinions. They're like assholes. Everyone's got one. Everyone does. Once you free yourself and allow yourself to actually have conversations about it, it's interesting. You know what I mean? It's interesting to have the conversations. And most of us are actually agreeing on the majority of the things. What I said is I wouldn't pass judgment on seeing an LGBTQ plus flag in a classroom. I wouldn't pass judgment on that teacher. You guys disagree. You say it has no business there. We made the argument to why that could and couldn't be true. And you're challenged with that. And I'm not saying, well, you're wrong for thinking that, unless you're just bigoted and you just don't believe gay people have a right to exist. And then you're just a fucking morally bankrupt person, you know, and I'll say that to you because who the fuck are you to tell someone else how they can and can't be happy if it's legal? Do you know what I mean? I could give two shits. It doesn't affect me. Frank said, are you having a moment, Steve? No, I think this was a good show. Maybe it was a good show. I don't know. Was it a good show? So do this on YouTube. Type a comment. Let me know if you like the show or not. You know? And if you do, you know, write a comment. If you don't, like a comment. Leave a comment is what I meant to say. All right, so tomorrow we're going to start the trial around 9:30. Be no commentary, maybe a little bit in the morning, but probably not. And then I am driving up, so we'll have the trial on all day on social media channels. It'll be on all day. Friday, it'll be on all day, no commentary again, because I will be switching hotels and doing actually driving into New York City then. So I'll leave it on until it's done. And then, I may do a show sometime on Saturday. Not sure. And no guarantee that I'm doing it. And then we're driving all the way back down on Sunday afternoon, I believe. So anyway, I appreciate all you guys. Someone said you're still pissed Bruce Jenner was Woman of the Year. Yeah, it's not a woman. Do I believe that Jenner has the right to live as a woman? Sure, it doesn't affect me. I could give two fucks. Do I want to listen to him on Fox News? No, absolutely not. Nope. It's one of the reasons why I hate Fox News. I just can't do it. The voice annoys me. It annoys me. It's like Judge Jeanine Pirro. Not a big fan of her voice either. Incredibly bright woman. Don't really like her voice. You know, I'm usually much more shallow in my reasons for disliking someone. I don't base it on their sexuality. I base it on like their voice or their appearance. You know, I'm very shallow in that aspect. All right, well, I'm going to end this show. Guys, I'll see you at some point tomorrow. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, type a comment. You think I'm fucking a liberal? You know, type a comment. Be respectful, though, so I don't have to just delete it. Okay? Bye. Oh, and like, share, subscribe, do all that shit.